How many times, whether you're on the left or the right, have you given to an organization because you thought they were going to help your cause? Let's say on the left, it's, social justice or, men becoming women, whatever, or it's on the right, like say, let's stop the steal. Yeah, if you're a Republican, you remember Stop the Steal. A ton of average Americans gave to that. And yet there were hardly any legal battles done in regards to that. With the 2020 election, they took the money and then distributed it to other Republicans. So, and both sides do this, okay? So they take from the people that have the least, because we end up believing in you, whether you're on the left or the right. And then it doesn't matter, our $25 or $50 that we give really doesn't matter, but you'll take it anyway, when really it's the big donors you're working for. I mean, hell, months ago, people may have remembered it was Eric or Don Jr. that was talking about a Trump phone. That never materialized, right? I mean, I gave $100, I was stupid enough to give $100 to that. Since then, I got a new phone. I had to. So, but, I mean, never heard about it again. But it's somehow these people, and it's both sides, are working for the average. No, it's like you go out of your way to screw the average Americans over. It's like, oh, we're giving you this big tax break, right? And my electric bill is like 5 times what it was before. So it still all balances out, so the government screws you over. And takes from the least. Yet the Bible talks about that. That just remember that when you did this to the least of me, when you did it to the least of them, you did it to me. Just remember, that's in the Bible. On X, I'm just wondering, this is pinned to the White House account. Like, I think it's going to be there indefinitely. This isn't who I voted for. I mean, I know this is who I got because that's in the entire White House staffers are who Charlie Kirk picked. Why Donald Trump didn't want to pick his own, I have no idea. I don't even, again, I can't even try to figure it out. Will it ever be addressed? No, because none of this ever is. But I didn't vote for him. So why do you have this constantly pinned up there? Well, it's very simple. Because these are all JFK loyalists. Because that's what he was serving. It is. It's the same thing. It's the repeating story, okay? JFK was all about the new frontier, the progressive agenda. I mean, he brought it on the heels. He straight up told you, I'm not here for you, Americans. That's what he said. He got praise and worship for it. I'm not here for you. I'm here to find out what you're going to do for this country. Yeah. And he said, the new frontier, it's a turning point. It's the reason RFK Jr. is soulmates with Kirk. The January 6th event, which was nominally a Save America rally tied to the then President Trump, also functioned as a financial vehicle managed by Carol Wren and Turning Point to distribute over $3 million in funds to a network of conservative organizations and political campaigns beyond just the rally itself. But we didn't know about that. No, but they'll take your money. They'll create Stop the Steal, never doing anything about the steal, but just taking your money. They'll do anything to take your money, to take from the least. Investigations revealed much of these funds, this is about Stop the Steal, were not fully used for election-related legal battles, but instead were redirected or stored for future political use. Estimates place the combined fundraising from grassroots donors related to Stop the Steal and other election denial efforts in the hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, but I gave to the Republican National Convention. But it doesn't matter when your $25 or $50 matters a lot to most average Americans, right? I mean, it does, or $100. But to these people, it means nothing because it's the big donors that get to set the policies, like the right Christian lunatic, crazy people. I mean, and all this stuff tied to him. Stop the Steal, March to Save a Council for National Policy. All morally bankrupt people. The Council for National Policy is a Christian right influence organization that has set the movement's agenda. Yeah, then these people, the morally bankrupt people, go on to create the policies that, on the right would be the right radical Christian nationalism, which hates women, okay? Just like if it was on the left, they'll create their radical left lunatic agendas like this that are on the atheist side, but also hate women because they say men are women. I've called out Jack Hibbs before. He's he's just false, period. When interviewed by Perkins on his radio show, a pastor in California named Jack Hibbs blamed the insurrection on insufficient adherence to Christianity, saying this is what you get when you eject God from the courts and from the schools. Okay. So, I'm all for God, but what these people do, and it's what Charlie Kirk was doing, is they literally twist God's word to fit their political agenda. That's not cool. You can't do that. God's not okay with that. Again, you can use God's word, but you cannot twist the biggest parts in the Bible to serve your political. That's what the right Christian crazy people do. Because they're so far radical right. They're Christian nationalists. And they're as lunatic as the left. That's how you get your Project 20. You get all the morally bankrupt people that are out of their mind setting policy. That's why all the JFK loyalists, they're all Democrats in the White House. That's what they are. That's why it's like you didn't vote for Charlie Kirk, but the White House staffers don't care. They're going to leave Charlie Kirk up there, even though he was screwing over his grassroots movement. Oh, yeah, guys, all stealing money on both sides. And while you're stealing and redistributing all the billions you get, you're hurting the least of us. That's why you don't have a moral compass. This was a big donor to Turning Point, the Bruce Rauner Foundation. He's a former Illinois governor. He was a Democrat. He ran as a Republican, but he was a Democrat. He supported Medicaid and state-funded Medicaid to pay for abortions. And he supported that local law enforcement should not be helping immigration officials. Those are two huge things. There's other things too. He was an absolute Democrat. In Illinois, we expect that. If a Republican gets in, we're just used to it that they're a Democrat, they're a rhino. They just are. And they'll always end up showing it. But he was a huge donor to Turning Point. Some other, donations or matching donations was Pfizer for Turning Point. Corporate match programs from companies like Bank of America, Charitable Foundation, and Pfizer Foundation also indirectly supported the organization. So just realize this is who these people are. They changed MAGA because they're all the progressive left that are carrying on the JFK legacy, which is not a legacy we need carried on. This was the logo of the isolationist America First Committee, which wanted to keep the U.S. out of World War II. Yeah, they were tied to the Nazi Party in America because there was a Nazi party, the Bund Nazi. Yeah, it was tied to all this. So they changed the logo from what used to be Make America Great Again to just being about this. That's why Tucker Carlson and all the people that don't have our best interests at heart say this.